Hello everybody, welcome back. Now in this video, I'm basically just going to be talking about every Titan and giving my personal opinion on all of them. Now before I go on ahead and do that, please note that I have not used every single one of these Titans, and most of my opinions will just be from what I know about them. I'll let y'all know which ones I have used and which ones I haven't. So let's go ahead and get into it. So first, the Kid. We all get him for free, and I'm gonna be honest, of course he's the worst Titan. However, he's still a Titan. His full action really helps him out. He gains access to his alpha weapon, which without that ability active, that's really what just holds him back. It also gives him additional defense points, and then his stove ability does a lot of damage and cannot be blocked by shields, which is pretty good. If you're going to be running him, you would want to use not these weapons, but you would want to use brawling weapons for him, as he's more of a brawling Titan. The author I have used, he was my first Titan I ever bought, and he is still, again, not really the best. Ever since they nerfed how much shield health, or how much normal health he has, and gave him more shield health. Still a pretty decent Titan though. If they don't have anything that can break through your shields, you can really hold your own and absorb a lot of damage. Similar to the Kid, he's more of a brawling Titan, so you want to give him brawling like weapons. And that's basically it. Other than that, the shield mode puts his shields in front of him, so where instead of being protected from the side, he's protected from the front, and reduces his speed. And his other ability, Blast Wave, it makes him deal damage within an area. It's similar to the Kid's stove attack or stove ability. However though, it's more instantaneous damage than long-term damage. The Ao Ming I've never used, however though, it's a good Titan if you know how to use it. If you put mainly ranged weapons, like especially the blinding weapons, then you can deal a lot of damage output and just control from afar. You can basically also fly indefinitely with the Dragon Flight ability. However though, you have to be in the air for the beta weapons to work. And then the self-repair ability basically heals its durability some. And that's really it. Nodens, pretty good Titan. However though, not as good as it used to be. It's slow. The healing ability is probably the better or the best healing Titan. It can deal a lot of damage output if you give it proper weapons. However though, even though it's the best support Titan, you're probably better off using a different support Titan. The active ability, or the primary ability, it basically gives you and a teammate, if you bond with it, some healing. And then the secondary ability basically applies suppression, specifically a 50% suppression effect. Pretty decent Titan, however though, there are, in the sense of durability and survivability, better, but in the sense of support, not really as good. Minos. This one is actually a really strong Titan. If you know how to play his charge ability and then his reflector, give him, again, brawling weapons, like the new Evora weapons, he can be a very tanky Titan. However, though, if you don't play him right, then he's not readily that good. And basically with the Evoras, if you don't have them, you would be better off giving him brawling weapons. However, his charge is really good. You can run this way real quick, deal a lot of damage, and the reflector allows you to absorb damage and just be a lot more tanky than you would normally. The Sharinga, I have used this Titan before, and it's honestly has amazing firepower, but just not enough survivability. The full power ability increases its weapon damage by a percentage depending on what level it is, and the Phase Exile is kind of its only defensive ability, but it's basically like a phase shift that you don't want. That's how I would explain it. Or a negative phase shift. Like I said though, amazing firepower, just not enough defensive abilities. Next we have Muromits. Now this Titan, its hard rain ability is pretty good. It's a pretty decent Titan. However though, most times now, there's just so many ways of ignoring its stealth from its hard rain ability. The EMP Blast is also pretty good as well, because because of one factor, if you kill the enemy before it actually activates, it will save the ability. I like that about it. However though, it's still kind of meh, not really the best, but it's far from the worst. The first legendary, Luchador. Amazing brawling Titan. Its Frog Splash gives you a really big jump, allows you to deal more damage. Well, no, it gives you a reflector that also is really decent. It also gives a suppression effect whenever you actually land to enemies around you. And then the ultimate defense secondary ability gives you a really powerful reflector, gives you a big heal, and also the one thing about it that is the main difference between Minos and Luchador is that the reflector like ability, this Titan actually stands still. So if you have someone like a fast moving Titan or something like that that can just get behind cover while Luchador has the ultimate defense ability active, then it will be basically kind of a waste. However though, it's really tanky, as well as because something else that it has, it actually takes less gray damage. So really tanky Titan. If you're going to use it, which you should if you have it, brawling weapons. That's the best thing for it. By the way, on Muromits, you should use kind of more ranged weapons. On Sharinga, you should actually, well, it's kind of dependent on the person if you want to brawl or snipe with Sharinga. However, those strikers are pretty good on it. Continuing on, Heimdall. Another support Titan, and honestly, not readily that good. The shapeshift ability basically swaps from attack and support mode. It either gives him a built-in weapon or gives him healing to also allies around it. It also does increase its speed if you are using the healing ability, which is pretty good. However though, Nodin still has a better heal. And then its secondary ability depends if you're in offense or defense mode. If you're in offense, you gain a rocket grenade launcher thing that gives suppression effect. However, though, if you're in your healing ability mode, you actually gain additional heal and basically a better healing effect. And whenever this Titan dies, it restores gray damage on your allies, which is pretty cool. However, though, if you're going to be running this Titan, you're not readily going to be brawling with it. You might want to use ranged weapons like the lanterns or maybe even lance. So, decent Titan, however, though, it's just not as good as you originally would think. Indra. This is my main Titan that I use, if you haven't saw any of my other videos. But I use the Kraken Indra, so I know more about this Titan than other ones. And honestly, it's one of the best brawlers in the game. If you know how to use its abilities, it's a really deadly Titan. You shouldn't really use it with ranged weapons, you should always use it with brawling weapons. Now let's go ahead and go with abilities. So Electric Lasso, basically short range, slows down the enemy, and the thing is that when it does its damage, instead of it being an exact number, it's based on a percentage of the target's HP. So let's just say the 5% that's right there. If you can see it, hold on, give me a second. Right here, that 5%. If they have 10,000 HP, then they would be taking 5,000 HP. So basically, the bigger the robot or Titan, the more damage the Electric Lasso will deal. It also gives you healing as well whenever you get an enemy with it. And then I don't know how to pronounce that. Basically accelerates your Titan, makes you immune to negative effects. It also removes any, like, lockdown. That's one of them. It removes it. A really good Titan, in my opinion, the best Titan in the game, aside from another one, which we'll go over. However, though, a really good Titan, I will say that. Aether. Aether is more of a sniping Titan if you're going to use it. You want to put lance and glaive or maybe even blinding weapons. However, though, if you do decide to use any brawling weapons, you should use the Vayrons and Evora, because you can get a lot of firepower out of them. However, though, it's not really made for brawling, so that's why you should use lance and glaive. Its primary ability basically flies up, and it's similar to Seraph. When it flies, it gains a force field. However, its built-in weapon accumulates EMP effect, and then its secondary ability gives it healing and increased mobility. Really good Titan. If you know how to play it well, then you can do a lot of damage with it. One of the better ranged Titans in the game, in my opinion. Next we have Sirius. Now this Titan, honestly, when it was first released, sounded pretty good. However, though, whenever they added it into the game, it was more of a lower amount of what we thought it was going to be. It's still a pretty decent Titan. Now it was basically supposed to be a Titan version of the Mars robot, which it is. The remote restore and then remote assault. One's a support turret, one's a damage turret. The damage turret can do a lot of damage. The support turret is pretty decent. Similar to Mars, when the attack turret is on you, it constantly fires at the enemy. And if the support turret is on you, it will constantly regenerate your health, making this Titan really good for just keeping it have a constant regeneration effect. Now, it really depends on the person. However, though, I honestly recommend to use Evoras on it if you do use any weapons for brawling. Other than that, you might be better off using lanterns for more ranged attacks if you want to go more of a supportive side than a brawling side. And the last one, and the newest one, Rook. Very great Titan. It's a very tanky Titan, especially because of the shield replacement. The castling is a very good ability. He rises up and then can be launched towards an enemy, dealing heavy damage. The shield replacement, it will destroy all your shields if you have any left, repair you by a percentage of your HP, and then it will put the shields back on for full health. So if they just break your shield and you just keep replenishing the shield, this Titan can last a long time. Now, weapons for it, this Titan is a very good brawler, so you should put like Evora, Veyron, the Vidra shotguns, or even Grum and Squall. Depending on the person though, you can use either one. And that is actually the last Titan that we will be going over, because there's no more. However though, really good Titans, the legendaries, most of them are. Yeah, most of them. However though, yeah, so that's my personal opinion on all of them and what you should use with them. Like I said, Kid is made for brawling, Author's made for brawling, Ao Ming's made for range, Nodens, pick your poison, Minos is for brawling, or Minos, Sharinga, pick your poison, Muromits, ranged, Luchador, brawling, Himdall, ranged, Indra, brawling, Aether, ranged, Sirius, pick your poison, and Rook, brawling. So, if I were to tell you what, in my personal opinion, the best Titan, it's gonna have to be Indra, in my opinion. It's just, if you can use this Titan well, you can get a lot of value out of it. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Comment down below if you think that I was wrong on these ratings. If you think that I should have rated this Titan better or this Titan worse. Or maybe if I gave the wrong information about if they should be used as a brawler or ranged. And yeah, I'll read the comments about those. And I'll see you guys in the next video.